The courtroom is silent, yet the tension is unbearable. Every eye is fixed on Janelle as she stands, trembling slightly, ready to reveal the truth that could shatter Kody's world forever. Christine and Meri exchange nervous glances. No one is prepared for the secrets about to be exposed. Will Kody survive this ultimate showdown, or is his entire carefully constructed life about to crumble? Stay with us, because what happens next will shock you, and it's all captured on camera. The morning sun filters through the tall courtroom windows, casting long shadows across the polished wooden floors. The smell of aged wood mingles with the faint tang of coffee from the jury room. Kody sits at the defense table, his posture stiff, fingers drumming nervously against the mahogany surface. Across the aisle, Janelle's hands are clasped tightly together, knuckles white, but her eyes are sharp, unwavering. Today is not just another hearing. Today is the day she confronts the man she once trusted with her entire world. The bailiff calls the court to order, and the room falls into an eerie silence. The judge, stern and unreadable, peers over his glasses, signaling for the proceedings to begin. Janelle rises, each step deliberate, her heels clicking against the floor, echoing through the tense space. Christine and Meri sit together in the gallery, gripping each other's hands, their expressions a mix of anticipation and dread. Robyn watches silently from the corner, her eyes flicking between the family she loves and the chaos about to erupt. You won't believe what Janelle reveals next. It changes everything you thought you knew about Kody. Janelle begins her testimony, her voice steady but heavy with emotion. She recounts years of hidden conversations, private messages, and moments Kody thought were safely tucked away from everyone's eyes. Each revelation lands like a hammer strike in the courtroom, causing audible gasps and murmurs among the spectators. Kody's face tightens, lips pressed into a thin line, eyes darting nervously as he senses the trap closing in around him. Christine leans forward, eyebrows knitted in a mixture of anger and disbelief. "I can't believe this," she whispers under her breath, shaking her head. Meri, sitting beside her, clasps her hands so tightly that her nails dig into her palms. She fights to keep her composure, but the betrayal in Janelle's words pierces her heart like a jagged blade. The tension spikes as Janelle produces the first piece of evidence, a recording Kody thought was erased, a single tape capturing conversations that reveal his darkest decisions and manipulation. The courtroom reacts instantly. Eyes widen, jaws drop, and Kody finally swallows hard, knowing the walls he built around his secrets are crumbling. What's on that tape will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about Kody's life. As the testimony continues, the camera pans across each wife's face. Christine's jaw clenches, a mix of fury and heartbreak playing across her features. Meri's eyes glisten, tears threatening to fall, yet she fights to stay strong. Robyn's lips press together, conflicted emotions swirling. She loves him, yet even she can't ignore the evidence unraveling before their eyes. Janelle pauses, letting the weight of her words settle. The air is thick with tension. Even the judge leans forward slightly, sensing the magnitude of what's unfolding. The first hooks of the story have landed, but the courtroom is only the beginning. There's a storm brewing, and no one, not even Kody, can predict the fallout. The session edges toward its first cliffhanger, as Janelle sets up her next revelation, one she hints will completely upend Kody's standing with the court and the family. Every eye in the room locks on her, including Kody's, wide with panic, a man caught completely off guard by the woman he underestimated. What happens next will shock even the most devoted Sister Wives fans, and it's coming in the next section. If this format works for you, I can continue with section 2, which will be highly suspenseful and emotional, focusing on Janelle revealing Kody's darkest secrets, and Christine and Meri's reactions will be explosive. The courtroom lights seem to dim as if the room itself is holding its breath. Janelle's eyes lock on Kody, a mixture of pain and determination swirling in their depths. Every step she takes toward the witness stand reverberates like a drumbeat in the silent space. "You think you can hide your truth forever?" she says softly, almost whispering, but her words echo like a thunderclap. Christine stiffens in her seat, Meri gasps quietly, and Robyn instinctively grips the edge of the pew. The camera zooms in on Kody, beads of sweat forming on his forehead, his lips pressed tight, every nerve on edge. Tonight, everything changes. Everything Kody built on lies is about to fall apart. The murmurs in the courtroom grow louder, but no one dares speak. Janelle clears her throat, her voice rising with precision and emotion. I have held these truths for years. I wanted to protect, to keep the family together. But the time for secrets is over. The air is thick with anticipation, almost suffocating. Kody shifts uncomfortably in his chair, trying to mask his panic with a forced composure. The judge leans forward, signaling for complete silence, the tension almost tangible enough to touch. Janelle begins her testimony with a recollection of Kody's manipulations over the years, subtle lies, hidden meetings, and promises broken in silence. Each story she tells builds a vivid picture of a man whose charm masks a carefully constructed web of secrets. Christine's face darkens, a storm brewing in her eyes. Meri shakes slightly, almost in disbelief, as memories resurface in waves of betrayal. Even Robyn's usually calm demeanor falters, a shadow of doubt crossing her face. Janelle holds up a small envelope, the kind one keeps in a desk drawer, never meant to see the light of day. Inside this, she says, her hand trembling slightly, are letters and notes Kody wrote, but never sent. Words that reveal his true intention, the ones he tried to hide from every one of you. Gasps echo across the room. Kody's hands clench so tightly, he almost breaks his pen. You won't believe the content of these letters. It's the kind of betrayal that changes everything in a single moment. As the letters are read aloud, the room reacts in real time. Christine's jaw tightens, eyes narrowing as each line paints a picture of manipulation. Meri's tears finally spill, a soft sob escaping her lips, though she tries to hold it back. Robyn closes her eyes, heart pounding, trying to reconcile the man she loves with the man revealed here. Janelle's voice remains strong, but there is a raw undercurrent of emotion that strikes at everyone watching. The camera pans to Kody, a mixture of shame and anger contorting his features. He tries to speak, to interject, but the weight of the revelations pins him down like invisible chains. Each testimony, each piece of evidence, is a strike hammering away at the facade he's maintained for so long. The courtroom becomes a stage for truth, and there's no escaping the spotlight. What Kody says next in his defense will either save him or completely destroy his credibility. You need to see this. Janelle doesn't stop. She moves on to the most explosive part of her evidence. Recordings. The first tape is played, faint at first, then clear. Kody's own words, exposing the ways he manipulated each wife for personal gain. The room falls silent again, the only sound the haunting voice of Kody captured on tape. Christine's hands fly to her mouth, unable to stop the shock from overtaking her. Meri's nails dig into her palms, her body trembling. Robyn sinks slightly in her seat, a look of betrayal etched across her face. The judge, unflinching, leans forward, listening intently. This is serious, he murmurs, mostly to himself. Every member of the jury shifts uncomfortably, the weight of the moment pressing down like a physical force. Janelle's eyes are unwavering, and with each revelation, it's as if the room itself leans closer, hanging on her words. The next revelation is the one that even Kody didn't see coming. It changes the game completely. Then comes the moment that nobody in the courtroom could have predicted. Janelle holds up a second tape, this one far more personal, one that directly implicates Kody in decisions that hurt not just the family, but the very foundations of trust and love. The tension is palpable. Christine gasps so loudly it breaks the silence, covering her mouth in horror. Meri buries her face in her hands, shaking with disbelief. Robyn's eyes widen, her face pale as she struggles to process the betrayal. Even the judge pauses, momentarily stunned. Kody's face shifts from panic to disbelief, then finally to fear. Every strategy he had thought would protect him is unraveling before his eyes. The audience watching in real time could almost feel the room shrinking around him, the walls closing in as Janelle continues her precise, merciless testimony. The narrative pauses for a heartbeat. The tension stretches. Janelle steps back, allowing the gravity of the revelation to sink in. She doesn't gloat. She doesn't need to. The truth itself is weapon enough, piercing every corner of the courtroom with its sharp clarity. If you think this is shocking, just wait. The next piece of evidence changes everything for Kody and the entire family. She moves on, revealing documents that show Kody's attempts to manipulate family finances and personal relationships, carefully hidden from everyone. The court reacts again, some leaning forward in shock, others pulling back in disbelief. Christine whispers angrily, "I can't believe he did this." Meri barely nods, still reeling, while Robyn grips her knees tightly, caught in a storm of emotion. Every new revelation is more devastating than the last, painting a portrait of a man whose secrets have finally been brought into the light. The tension in the room is so thick, it could almost be sliced with a knife. The audience feels every heartbeat, every gasping breath, as Janelle continues to dismantle Kody's carefully constructed life piece by piece. By the halfway mark, the emotional intensity reaches a fever pitch. Kody begins to lose his composure, shifting uncomfortably, sweat beading on his forehead. Christine leans back, fists clenched, silently trying to hold herself together. Meri finally allows a tear to slip down her cheek, quietly sobbing, while Robyn looks torn between defending him and accepting the reality before her eyes. What Janelle reveals next is the final straw, and it will leave everyone, including Kody, speechless. The final revelation of this session comes as Janelle exposes a long-hidden agreement Kody made without consulting his wives, a document that could change the entire dynamic of the family and possibly even the court's decision. The room goes silent, the gravity of the situation weighing heavily on everyone present. Kody's face pales. He had never anticipated this coming to light in such a public, undeniable way. Christine's voice breaks through, sharp and furious. "How could you think this was acceptable?" she asked, disbelief and anger mingling in her tone. Meri's sobs become audible, echoing slightly in the large courtroom. Robyn leans forward, conflicted emotions battling across her face. Love, betrayal, shock, confusion. As Janelle steps down from the witness stand, the room holds its collective breath. She doesn't need to say more. The silence speaks volume. Every person in that courtroom knows something fundamental has shifted. Kody's world, once carefully curated and protected, has fractured in ways he cannot immediately repair. The next session will reveal Kody's reaction, and it's a reaction that nobody saw coming. You do not want to miss it. The section ends with the camera capturing the wives' expression, each a study in disbelief, pain, and emerging strength. The tension lingers, a perfect cliffhanger for the next session, as viewers are left wondering how Kody will respond to the relentless, damning revelation. The courtroom holds its breath as Kody finally rises, trembling slightly, eyes darting between Janelle, Christine, and Meri. The weight of every secret revealed presses down on him, and the room seems to shrink around his guilt. "I didn't mean for it to come out this way," he stammers, his voice faltering, betraying the cracks in his carefully constructed facade. Janelle watches him silently, her gaze cutting, unrelenting. The wives exchange looks, Christine sharp with fury, Meri's full of heartbreak, Robyn's torn between disbelief and devotion. Tonight, every lie Kody told is put to the ultimate test, and no one will leave unchanged. The judge clears his throat, a low, warning sound that echoes in the tense courtroom. Kody glances at him, swallowing hard, then returns his gaze to Janelle. Every second stretches like an eternity. He knows the room is waiting for his defense, but the truth hangs heavier than any strategy or word he could muster. Every eye is locked on him. The moment is electric. Kody begins, his words faltering at first. "I tried to protect everyone. I made mistakes, yes, but I never wanted to hurt anyone," he says, his voice shaking. But Janelle, unflinching, interrupts calmly. "The truth doesn't care about your intentions, Kody. Actions speak louder than words." The courtroom is tense. Murmurs ripple through the audience. Christine leans forward, jaw tight, eyes burning with anger. Meri buries her face in her hands, shaking with silent frustration. Robyn grips the edge of her chair, caught in the whirlwind of emotion. "You won't believe the confrontation that's about to unfold, the one that exposes Kody in front of everyone." As the session progresses, Kody attempts to explain the reasoning behind his action, but every sentence is met with piercing looks from Janelle. "You don't get to rewrite history," she says, her voice calm but razor sharp. "We know what happened. We've seen the evidence. The letters, the tapes, and the hidden documents are no longer abstract. They are weapons, and Kody feels the impact of each one like a hammer." Christine bursts out, her voice trembling with fury. "You manipulated us. You lied to our faces for years." The room grows louder, tension rising like a storm. Meri wipes tears from her cheek, trying to compose herself, but the heartbreak is raw and visible. Robyn shifts in her seat, her eyes darting between Kody and the evidence, unable to reconcile her love with the betrayal unfolding before her. Kody's next move could either save him or shatter his credibility, and the wives are ready to respond. Kody takes a deep breath, attempting to regain composure. I made decisions I thought were best for the family. I thought I was protecting everyone, he says, but the tension in his voice betrays him. The judge raises an eyebrow, leaning slightly forward, clearly skeptical. Janelle's calm but unwavering stare pierces him like a spotlight. Every fiber of his being feels exposed. Suddenly Christine steps forward, unable to contain her anger. Protecting us? You put your own interests first. Kody, every time. Her words echo through the courtroom. The tension is suffocating. Meri's hands shake as she clutches the papers in front of her. Robyn remains silent, but her eyes glisten with unspoken conflict, the kind of love that struggles against reality. The next revelation will shock the entire courtroom. Kody didn't expect this evidence to come to light. Janelle rises again, pulling out an additional tape, one she had saved for the most dramatic moment. The room goes silent. The tape reveals a conversation between Kody and a close confidant, exposing manipulations that go far beyond what anyone imagined. The sound of his own voice fills the courtroom, each word a dagger. Christine gasps loudly, covering her mouth. Meri's hands tremble as she grips the edge of her chair. Robyn bites her lip, silent tears streaming down her face. Even the judge leans forward, listening intently, the weight of the moment palpable. Kody's face pales, his confident veneer cracking. I didn't think this would. I mean, his voice trails off, hopelessly fumbling. The wives exchange looks that speak volume. No words are necessary. The evidence is undeniable. Janelle watches silent, letting the truth speak for itself. If you thought Kody had any control left, the next few moments will completely erase that illusion. The tension builds as Janelle recounts years of subtle manipulation, moments where Kody's decisions hurt the family emotionally and financially, all carefully hidden behind a facade of care and devotion. Each revelation lands with precision, creating shockwaves that ripple through every corner of the courtroom. Christine's anger intensifies, Meri's heartbreak deepens, and Robyn struggles with duality of her love and disbelief. Kody's attempts at justification are met with disbelief and rising frustration from the wives. You don't get to rewrite history, Janelle asserts again, her voice unwavering. The evidence is here, the truth is here, and we all see it now. The room holds its breath, waiting for the fallout, the reactions and the emotional confrontation that will inevitably come. The next confrontation will bring Kody to his knees, literally and emotionally. Kody falters, eyes darting around the courtroom. The walls seem to close in. Every wife's gaze is like fire, each piercing his carefully maintained armor. Christine's voice cuts through the silence. You built your life on lies. Kody, do you even hear yourself? Meri's quiet sobs echo softly, blending with the heavy silence. Robyn's lips press together, struggling between defending him and acknowledging the undeniable truth. The tape plays again, this time highlighting decisions that directly affected the wives' personal lives, moments of betrayal that were hidden under the guise of protection. The courtroom gasps collectively. Kody's hands shake as he adjusts his paper, unsure of what to say next. The judge's eyes narrow, clearly evaluating every reaction. Janelle remains composed, a calm force amid the chaos, each revelation hitting with surgical precision. The next shocking twist in Kody's testimony will leave you speechless. Even the judge can't hide his reaction. Suddenly Christine steps forward again, her voice a mix of fury and grief. I can't believe I ever trusted. The words hang in the air, sharp and undeniable. Meri wipes her tears, anger slowly replacing the initial heartbreak. Robyn leans forward, her face pale, as she finally begins to see Kody in a light she had tried to ignore. Kody's voice cracks. I thought I was doing the right thing, he stammered. But every word is met with skeptical glares and silent judgment. The courtroom is alive with tension, a storm barely contained within the polished walls. Every revelation, every tear, every gasp builds toward an emotional crescendo. You won't believe what Kody does next. It's a move that shocks everyone in the courtroom. The narrative pauses, letting the tension stretch. The wives exchange glances, each silently acknowledging the truth they have long suspected but never confirmed. Janelle sits back slightly, eyes locked on Kody, her composure unwavering. Kody's defenses are crumbling, piece by piece. Robyn finally speaks, her voice soft but firm. Kody, this isn't what love looks like. Her words hang in the air, the weight of reality settling heavily on everyone present. Kody's face pales, unable to respond. The courtroom remains still, every heartbeat amplified by the intensity of the moment. As the session nears its close, the tension reaches its peak. Janelle prepares for the final part of her testimony in this session, the piece she's been saving for maximum impact. Every wife braces herself. Kody swallows hard. The magnitude of what's come crashing down on him. The judge leans forward. Anticipation clear. The room is a powder keg, moments away from an emotional explosion. What happens in the next few minutes will change everything. Stay tuned, because no one sees this coming. The session ends on a cliffhanger. Janelle holding a new piece of evidence. The wives' reactions teetering in shock and fury, and Kody's composure hanging by a thread. Every viewer is left wondering, how will he respond? And will the family survive this ultimate confrontation? The courtroom is electric. Every eye glued to Janelle as she rises with a calm ferocity that chills the. Kody's face is pale, his usually confident posture reduced to a tense, guarded stance. You think this is just about evidence? Janelle begins, her voice steady yet charged with emotion. It's about truth, accountability, and finally seeing your actions for what they really are. Christine's fists clench, Meri's breathing quickens, and Robyn's hand tightens around the pew as the weight of the moment hits her fully. Tonight, Kody's carefully built world begins to crumble, and nothing will ever be the same. The judge leans forward, eyes narrowing as he studies the room. The air is thick with tension, the quiet punctuated only by the occasional shuffle of papers. Kody shifts in his seat, trying to maintain composure. But the fear and panic simmering beneath his calm veneer are obvious. The wives watch, their faces a storm of anger, hurt, and anticipation. Every word Janelle speaks feels like a strike, and the room is suspended on the edge of revelation. Janelle starts by recounting another series of manipulations, this time exposing not just financial deceptions but personal betrayals that strike at the core of the family's trust. The evidence she presents is meticulous, almost surgical, leaving no room for doubt. Christine leans forward, jaw tight, eyes narrowed, every muscle in her body vibrating with barely contained fury. Meri bites her lip, trying to hold back tears, while Robyn's usually calm demeanor wavers as conflicting emotions ripple across her face. What Janelle reveals next will shake Kody to his core, and the wives' reactions are unforgettable. As the session progresses, Kody tries to defend himself, fumbling for words. "I thought I was protecting everyone," he stammers, but the calm precision of Janelle's evidence leaves him exposed. Every line of her testimony lands like a hammer, and the courtroom reacts audibly. Christine shakes her head, whispering angrily to herself. Meri's hands tremble as she grips her papers, the betrayal weighing heavily. Robyn's eyes widen, her lips pressed tightly together, struggling to reconcile love with the devastating truths unfolding before her. Janelle produces another piece of evidence, a letter Kody had written, full of manipulative undertones and hidden agendas. The courtroom goes silent, the weight of the revelation pressing down like a physical force. Kody's face pales, his carefully maintained confidence shattered by the damning words displayed before everyone. This letter contains a secret even the most loyal fans never imagined, and Kody's reaction is priceless. The tape plays. Kody's own voice, calm in tone but sinister in implication, fills the room. Christine gasps, covering her mouth. Meri's shoulders shake with restrained sobs. Robyn's eyes glisten with tears as the words sink in. The judge leans forward, clearly shocked at the gravity of what is being played. Janelle's expression remains composed, her determination unwavering as she allows the evidence to speak for itself. Kody struggles to respond, his voice cracking. "I didn't mean," he begins, but Christine interrupts sharply, anger radiating from every word. "You never mean, Kody. You never stop to consider the consequences." Meri's soft sobs blend with the tension, creating a charged atmosphere that the entire courtroom feels. The next revelation is a bombshell, one that will leave Kody completely speechless. Janelle unveils a new piece of evidence, a recorded conversation between Kody and a confidant, where he admits to intentionally misleading the wives to control outcomes. The room falls silent, the only sound the haunting clarity of his own voice. Christine's jaw drops, eyes wide with fury. Meri's hands shake as she buries her face in her palms. Robyn remains rigid, a mixture of disbelief and heartbreak etched across her face. Kody's composure is gone, sweat beads on his forehead, lips pressed into a thin line, eyes darting around the room for an escape that doesn't exist. Janelle sits back, letting the weight of the revelation sink in, knowing that truth is her most powerful weapon. If you think this is shocking, wait until you see what comes next. Kody's world is about to collapse entirely. As Janelle continues, the emotional intensity escalates. She recounts instances where Kody manipulated situations to his advantage, exploiting the wives' trust and affection. The room reacts audibly. Christine gasps. Meri trembles. Robyn fights back tears. Kody tries to interject, but his words falter against the precision and clarity of Janelle's evidence. The wives' reactions are a study in emotional turmoil. Christine's anger is palpable, her hands clenched into fists. Meri's heartbreak is raw, her sobs quiet but unmistakable. Robyn's eyes glisten as she struggles to reconcile love with the undeniable truths before her. The courtroom itself seems to vibrate with tension, every spectator caught in the intensity of the unfolding drama. The next piece of evidence will leave Kody reeling, and the wives can barely contain their shock. Janelle then presents documents revealing Kody's attempts to control the family's financial and personal decisions without their knowledge. Each document lands like a punch, undeniable and irrefutable. Christine's voice trembles with fury. "I trusted you, Kody. How could you do this to us?" Meri's tears spill freely now, her emotions raw and exposed. Robyn leans forward, her face pale, wrestling with the duality of love and betrayal. Kody's voice cracks, attempts at justification faltering. "I thought I was doing what was best," he says weakly, but the room reacts with disbelief. Janelle's calm gaze is unwavering, every word precise, exposing the cracks in Kody's defense. The judge listens intently, the tension in the room reaching near boiling point. What happens next will completely upend Kody's remaining defenses, and the courtroom erupts. Janelle pauses, letting the weight of her evidence settle over the room. The silence is deafening. Then she delivers her final revelation of the session, a letter that directly implicates Kody in decisions that caused emotional pain to the family. Christine's anger turns physical, slamming her hand against the bench. Meri cries openly, shaking with the raw intensity of betrayal. Robyn looks stunned, her emotions a whirlwind of hurt, disbelief and reluctant acknowledgement. Kody's composure is shattered. He slumps in his seat, shoulders hunched, every strategy, every excuse crumbling. The courtroom feels heavy, as if the air itself is charged with the electricity of truth. Janelle doesn't speak further. The evidence has spoken. The next session will reveal Kody's ultimate reaction, and it's a reaction that will leave everyone, including the judge, stunned. As the session closes, the wives exchange glances, each processing the revelations in their own way. Christine's eyes burn with anger, Meri's soul feels torn, and Robyn is caught in a maelstrom of conflicted emotion. Kody sits, defeated, aware that his carefully constructed world is unraveling. The courtroom holds its breath, the stage set for the next session, one that promises explosive confrontation, emotional breakdowns and irreversible consequences. The courtroom is electric with tension. Kody sits rigidly in his chair, eyes darting nervously between Janelle and the other wives. The air is thick, almost suffocating, as every person in the room waits for the next revelation. Janelle rises slowly, holding a folder in her hands like a weapon. "You've spent years hiding behind charm and manipulation," she says, her voice steady yet cutting. "But today, the truth is finally coming out. And it's going to change everything." Christine's fists clench, Meri bites her lip, and Robyn's eyes glisten with conflicted emotion. Tonight, Kody's secrets are no longer safe, and the fallout will be explosive. The judge leans forward, signaling the seriousness of the moment. Kody swallows hard, attempting to steady his shaking hands, but his confidence is gone. Every eye is on him, every breath in the room held tight. The weight of the moment presses down like a storm about to break, and everyone knows nothing will ever be the same. Janelle begins the session by recounting Kody's manipulations with calm precision, detailing every hidden move, every private conversation designed to deceive the wives. Christine leans forward, jaw tight, eyes blazing with fury. Meri fights to maintain composure, trembling but holding back tears. Robyn grips the edge of her chair, the conflict between love and disbelief visible on her face. What Janelle reveals next is a secret Kody never thought would see the light of day, and it will shock everyone. As the session unfolds, Kody attempts to defend himself, his voice cracking under the weight of the truth. "I thought I was protecting everyone," he stammers, but Janelle's calm, unwavering gaze stops him in his tracks. She lays out the evidence with surgical precision. Letters, recordings, and hidden notes that paint a picture of betrayal, so clear that Kody cannot deny it. Christine shouts, her voice shaking with anger. You lied to us. You used us. Meri's tears fall freely now, her grief and heartbreak raw and visible. Robyn's face contorts with conflicting emotion, the love she feels for Kody clashing violently with the reality she's witnessing. The tension in the courtroom reaches a fever pitch, each word Janelle speaks driving the point home. The next piece of evidence will completely dismantle Kody's defenses, and his reaction will leave everyone stunned. Janelle produces a tape Kody believed destroyed years ago. The courtroom falls silent, as his own voice fills the room, exposing manipulations, hidden agreements, and decisions that directly hurt the family. Christine's eyes widen in disbelief. Meri clutches her chest as her sobs escape, and Robyn's hand trembles, resting against her mouth. Even the judge leans forward, visibly intrigued and shocked. Kody tries to speak, fumbling for words. I never wanted to, he stammers, but Christine cuts him off, her anger a palpable force. You never cared about how this affected us. Meri's soft sobs punctuate the tension, adding weight to the scene. Robyn looks pale, her emotions a storm of confusion and heartbreak. The next revelation will hit Kody harder than anything so far, and the wives' reactions are unforgettable. Janelle moves to her next piece of evidence, a letter detailing Kody's hidden decisions regarding family finances and personal control, written in a tone that reveals manipulation and deception. The courtroom reacts instantly. Christine leans back in anger, gripping her papers tightly. Meri trembles, her fingers digging into her lap. Robyn fights to keep her composure, a single tear slipping down her cheek. Kody's face pales, every strategy and excuse crumbling under the weight of undeniable proof. Janelle's voice remains calm, precise, yet each word hits with the force of a hammer. This isn't just about mistakes, she says, looking Kody directly in the eye. It's about intent, and your intent has been exposed. The courtroom gasps audibly, the tension nearly unbearable. If you think Kody's in trouble now, just wait. The next revelation will shatter his world completely. The session escalates, as Janelle plays another recording, this one capturing a private conversation where Kody admits to manipulating the family's decisions for his personal benefit. Christine's anger turns physical. She slams her hand against the bench. Meri's grief mixes with anger, her sobs louder and roar. Robyn's face pales as the realization hits, her eyes wide with shock. The courtroom is a storm of emotion, each reaction amplifying the drama. Kody sits, shoulders slumped, his usual confidence replaced with fear and desperation. I was only trying to keep peace, he says, but the words sound hollow, unconvincing. Every person in the room senses the fragility of his defense. Janelle doesn't flinch, she lets the evidence speak for itself, each revelation cutting deeper than any words could. The next confrontation will push Kody to his breaking point, and it's something no one expected. Christine finally rises, her voice trembling but sharp with fury. You built a life on lies. You made us believe in something that never existed. The courtroom is tense, each word echoing through the polished wood and high ceilings. Meri's sobs grow louder, her grief mixing with outrage. Robyn leans forward, gripping the pew, struggling to hold herself together. Kody looks around the courtroom, desperate for support, but finds none. Every eye is on him, every gaze full of judgment. The weight of the moment presses down, heavy and undeniable. Janelle calmly lays out the final piece of evidence for this session, a letter and tape combination that reveals Kody's deliberate manipulations over years of family decisions. This final revelation will completely strip away Kody's defenses, and the reaction will leave everyone in shock. The tape plays, Kody's own voice narrating a series of manipulations and deception, his intentions laid bare. Christine's fury is unmatched, her face red with emotion, tears streaming freely. Meri's grief and heartbreak combine with anger as she leans forward, unable to stop herself. Robyn's quiet composure shatters, her hands gripping the pew tightly, eyes wide with disbelief. Even the judge leans forward, a flicker of surprise crossing his usually impassive face. Kody slumps in his chair, his composure completely gone. His voice cracks as he attempts to defend himself. But the evidence is overwhelming. Janelle sits calmly, her face a mask of determination, letting the truth speak for itself. Every revelation, every tear, Every gasp of disbelief drives the emotional intensity higher, creating a cinematic crescendo of drama. The next few moments will change everything for Kody and the entire family, and you won't want to miss it. The session moves toward its climax, as Janelle methodically details the impact of Kody's decisions on each wife. Christine's anger becomes physical, slamming her fist on the table. Meri's grief is audible, her sobs filling the courtroom. Robyn struggles to hold herself together, torn between defending the man she loves and accepting the painful truth. Kody's face is pale, his composure gone, every defense shattered. The judge calls for a brief recess, and the room is filled with whispers and stunned silence. The wives sit in quiet reflection, absorbing the weight of the evidence and emotional confrontation. Kody remains seated, head in his hands, understanding fully that his carefully constructed life has been dismantled before everyone's eyes. The fallout from today's revelations will shock everyone. The next session promises more explosive drama and unexpected twists. The session ends with a cliffhanger. Janelle prepares to reveal a final piece of evidence that will completely upend Kody's position. The wives' emotions raw and exposed, and Kody's composure hanging by a thread. Every viewer is left breathless, anticipating the next chapter in this dramatic showdown. The courtroom seems to vibrate with tension. Kody sits rigid, hands gripping the edge of the table, eyes darting nervously from Janelle to Christine and Meri. The air is thick, every heartbeat amplified. Janelle rises, holding a folder that feels heavier than steel, her calm determination radiating like a storm ready to break. Kody, you've spent years hiding behind charm, manipulation and false promise, she says, her voice low but piercing. Tonight, the truth will finally demand the attention it deserves. Christine's fists clench, her eyes burning with fury. Meri's lips tremble, her hands clutching the bench. Robyn's face is pale, her emotions a battleground of love and disbelief. This session will push Kody to the brink, emotionally, publicly, and irreversibly. The judge leans forward, signaling that the moment has weight beyond measure. Kody swallows, attempting to hide the panic creeping into his voice. Every eye in the courtroom is locked on him, waiting for the inevitable breakdown. The air hums with anticipation, as though the room itself knows the storm is coming. Janelle begins by summarizing the previous session, highlighting the letters, recordings, and documents that have already shattered Kody's credibility. Then she introduces a new piece of evidence, something Kody believed completely destroyed years ago. The room gasps collectively as a tape plays, revealing a private conversation in which Kody admits to manipulating family decisions for personal gain. Christine slams her fist on the table, unable to hold back her fury. I can't believe I ever trusted, she shouts, her voice echoing through the courtroom. Meri's tears fall freely, grief mixing with anger. Robyn's hands shake as she grips the bench, caught between her love for Kody and the reality unfolding before her. The next revelation is something Kody never anticipated, and the wives' reactions will leave you speechless. The tape plays again, louder this time, capturing Kody's own words admitting hidden agreements and manipulation. Janelle watches him calmly, her expression unreadable, but her eyes blazing with intensity. Kody's face pales, his confidence dissolving under the unrelenting scrutiny of truth. Christine leans forward, jaw tight, every muscle in her body vibrating with suppressed rage. You lied, manipulated, and controlled us, she says, voice cracking. Meri's sobs mix with anger, creating a charged atmosphere. Robyn's face contorts, torn between anger and disbelief. Even the judge shifts slightly, eyebrows raised at the severity of the evidence. What Kody does next will shock everyone, and could change the course of this entire courtroom battle. Kody attempts to respond, voice shaking. I thought I was protecting everyone, he stammers, but the words sound hollow against the weight of indisputable evidence. Janelle interrupts softly but sharply. Intent doesn't excuse betrayal, Kody. The impact is undeniable, and you can't hide from it. The emotional intensity escalates as Janelle reveals a series of letters detailing Kody's manipulation, personal betrayals, and financial decisions kept secret from the wives. Each letter lands like a hammer, leaving Kody increasingly exposed. Christine's anger becomes physical, fists clenched tightly. Meri's heartbreak is raw, her sobs loud and piercing. Robyn's silent grief paints a stark contrast to her usually composed demeanor. The next piece of evidence is explosive. It directly implicates Kody in actions the wives never imagined. Janelle holds up another letter, written by Kody to a confidant, detailing strategies to manipulate the family's emotions and control the outcomes of private and financial matters. The courtroom falls silent as everyone absorbs the implication. Kody's face shifts from panic to disbelief. He tries to speak, but the words fail him. Christine's voice cuts through the silence, sharp and furious. "You can't just pretend this never happened," she exclaims, eyes blazing. Meri's hands tremble as she clutches her chest, the emotional weight almost unbearable. Robyn leans forward, pale and silent, trying to reconcile love with the undeniable evidence before her. "If you think Kody's in trouble now, just wait. The next revelation is even more damning." Janelle continues with another tape, one that captures Kody discussing manipulative strategies with a close friend, explicitly admitting to intentional deception. The room reacts immediately. Christine's face is red with fury. Meri sobs openly, and Robyn's hands shake as she struggles to maintain composure. Kody's confidence is completely gone. His voice cracks as he attempts to respond, but no one listens. Janelle's calm, deliberate delivery ensures every word hits like a blow. The judge leans forward, listening intently, clearly impressed by the meticulousness of the evidence. The courtroom is a storm of emotions: anger, grief, disbelief, and Kody is at the center, exposed and vulnerable. What happens next will push Kody past his breaking point, emotionally, publicly, and irreversibly. Christine rises, tears streaming, anger spilling from every pore. "You betrayed us all," she shouts. "You built your life on lies." The courtroom reacts audibly. Some shift in shock, others murmur under their breath. Meri's sobs grow louder, heartbreak mixed with outrage. Robyn leans forward, her face pale, struggling to absorb the enormity of what's unfolding. Kody slumps further in his chair, sweat beading on his forehead. Every strategy he had relied on is destroyed. Janelle doesn't speak, letting the weight of the evidence and reactions do the work. The tension is almost unbearable, every viewer feeling the weight of the confrontation. The next revelation could end Kody's ability to defend himself, and the wives are ready for the fallout. Janelle presents the final evidence for this session: documents and recordings revealing Kody's manipulations of financial and personal family decisions, showing premeditation and intent. The courtroom reacts immediately. Christine's anger becomes almost palpable. Meri's heartbreak is raw and visible. Robyn's silence masks an internal storm of emotions. Kody's face pales further. His defenses are gone. The emotional intensity reaches a peak as the tapes are played. Kody's own voice admitting deceit, manipulation, and control over the family's private lives. The wives' reactions are instantaneous and visceral. Christine screams, Meri sobs uncontrollably. Robyn grips the bench for support, unable to process the betrayal. Kody attempts to speak, but his voice is weak and hollow, drowned out by the undeniable impact of the evidence. The next session will reveal Kody's ultimate breaking point, and it's something no one in the courtroom or watching at home will forget. The session ends on a cliffhanger. Kody sits defeated, shoulders slumped, fully exposed. The wives' emotions are raw and uncontained. Janelle's calm, commanding presence dominates the room, every revelation having chipped away at Kody's credibility and composure. The audience is left in suspense, anticipating the next session where emotional confrontations and shocking consequences will unfold. The courtroom is charged with tension so thick it feels almost physical. Kody sits slumped, hands trembling, eyes darting nervously from Janelle to the other wives. Every moment of deception, every hidden agenda he ever orchestrated, is laid bare before the judge, the jury, and the wives. Janelle rises, calm but unstoppable, her presence commanding the room. Kody, the truth doesn't bend, it doesn't falter, and it doesn't forgive. Tonight everything you hid is exposed, and nothing will remain the same. Christine leans forward, jaw tight, eyes burning with uncontained fury. Meri's lips quiver as she fights to hold back tears, and Robyn's face is pale, her eyes wide with disbelief. What happens next will push Kody to the brink, emotionally, publicly, and irreversibly. The judge adjusts his glasses, leaning forward to capture every word, every reaction. The room is electric, anticipation practically humming in the air. Kody swallows hard, trying to steady his breathing, but even the shallowest inhale betrays his fear. Every eye in the room is locked on him, every heartbeat stretching into eternity. Janelle begins this session by recapping the past revelations, highlighting the letters, recordings, and hidden documents that have already devastated Kody's credibility. Then she pulls out something he never expected, a tape Kody believed destroyed years ago. The room gasps as his own voice fills the courtroom, revealing manipulations and admissions of deliberate deceit. Christine's fists clench, Meri trembles with grief, and Robyn's hands grip the bench, struggling to reconcile love with betrayal. You won't believe Kody's next reaction. It's raw, unguarded, and unforgettable. Kody tries to speak, but his voice cracks under the weight of the evidence. I only wanted to protect everyone, he stammers, but Janelle cuts him off sharply. Intent doesn't erase betrayal. Kody, the consequences are real, and the truth cannot be ignored. Christine leans forward, her anger like a physical force. You manipulated us for years. Every decision, every lie. Meri sobs quietly, her grief mingling with anger. Robyn remains silent, but her wide, tear-filled eyes betray the conflict raging inside her. Janelle continues, presenting letters that detail Kody's hidden manipulations of finances, family decisions, and emotional control. Each document lands like a hammer blow, and Kody's defenses crumble further. Christine pounds the table in frustration. Meri's heartbreak is raw, audible, almost unbearable. Robyn's composure begins to crack, her fingers trembling as she leans forward to absorb the reality. The next piece of evidence will shock the courtroom. Even the judge is leaning forward in disbelief. A second tape plays, this one a conversation between Kody and a confidant, discussing strategies to maintain control over the wives without their knowledge. The courtroom is stunned into silence. Kody's face goes pale, realizing he has no control left. Christine gasps, covering her mouth. Meri's sobs grow louder. Robyn's hands tremble, gripping the bench as she tries to process the revelation. Kody tries to interject. I didn't think, but the words fail him. Janelle doesn't flinch. She lets the evidence speak for itself. The weight of truth hits him like a tidal wave. The next revelation is something Kody never anticipated, and the wives' reactions are explosive. Janelle presents letters that detail Kody's manipulations of personal relationships, showing intentional emotional control and deceit. Christine's anger becomes almost physical. Fists clenched, jaw tight. Meri trembles, sobs racking her body. Robyn's face contorts with a mixture of grief, shock, and disbelief. Kody sits frozen, every strategy he relied on completely dismantled. The judge listens intently, clearly aware of the severity of the situation. Janelle's calm precision ensures that every revelation lands with maximum impact. The courtroom is a storm of emotion, each reaction amplifying the tension. The next confrontation will completely shatter Kody's defenses, and no one in the courtroom will recover easily. Janelle then plays another recording, revealing Kody's admission to intentionally misleading the family for years. Christine screams, unable to contain her fury. Meri sobs openly, the heartbreak visible for all to see. Robyn grips the pew, struggling to maintain composure, but her face reveals the storm inside her. Kody's own voice condemns him, leaving him powerless. Every word, every gasp, every tear intensifies the drama. The courtroom is suspended in a tense electric silence, waiting for Kody's reaction. He slumps in his chair, shoulders hunched, his attempts at defense completely gone. Kody's next move will push him to the breaking point, emotionally and publicly. Christine rises, her voice trembling but cutting through the room. You built a life on lies. You manipulated all of us. The courtroom reacts audibly. Some whisper, others gasp. Meri's sobs grow louder, grief and anger mingling. Robyn leans forward, pale, unable to fully process the revelations. Kody tries to respond, but his voice is hollow, empty. Every strategy, every defense, every attempt to explain is crushed under the weight of undeniable truth. Janelle remains calm, letting the evidence, the wives' reactions, and the emotional intensity speak louder than any words she could say. The next series of revelations will leave Kody speechless, and the courtroom will erupt. Janelle presents the final piece of evidence for this session, a letter and recording combination showing Kody's deliberate manipulation of financial and personal family matters, highlighting premeditation and intent. The courtroom reacts immediately. Christine's anger is raw and visible. Meri's grief reaches a peak, and Robyn's internal conflict is palpable. Kody's face is pale, his composure shattered completely. The tape plays Kody's own voice detailing intentional deception and manipulation. The wives' reactions are explosive. Christine yells, Meri sobs uncontrollably, and Robyn grips the pew for support, unable to maintain composure. Kody attempts to speak, but the words are weak, drowned out by the undeniable force of the evidence. The next session will reveal Kody's ultimate breaking point, and the consequences will shock everyone. The session ends on a cliffhanger. Kody sits defeated, shoulders slumped, fully exposed. The wives' emotions are raw, their faces reflecting heartbreak, anger, and disbelief. Janelle remains calm, having delivered a relentless series of revelations that have dismantled Kody's credibility and control. The courtroom and every viewer is left anticipating the explosive fallout of the next session. The courtroom is suffocating with tension, every eye locked on Kody. His usual confidence is gone, replaced with raw panic. Janelle rises slowly, holding a final folder of evidence that promises to end the battle once and for all. Kody, all the lies, all the manipulations, all the betrayals. They've led us here, she says, her voice low, calm, and deadly precise. Christine's fists clench, her body taut with barely contained fury. Meri's lips quiver, tears threatening to fall. Robyn's face is pale, eyes wide with shock and disbelief. Tonight Kody's world will collapse, and nothing will ever be the same. The judge leans forward, signaling the intensity of the moment. The room feels heavy, almost charged with electricity, as everyone braces for the final confrontation. Kody swallows hard, trying to steady his shaking hands, but the fear in his eyes betrays him. Every heartbeat is a countdown, every breath a reminder of the storm about to hit. Janelle begins this final session by summarizing all previous evidence, letters, recordings, and hidden documents that have already devastated Kody's credibility. She pauses, letting the weight of the past revelations sink in. Then she delivers the first bombshell of this session, a series of recordings that reveal Kody's deliberate manipulation of the family's most intimate decisions. Admissions he never expected would surface. Christine slams her fist on the table, anger radiating from her entire being. How could you? She shouts, voice shaking. Meri's tears flow freely, her grief raw and uncontainable. Robyn grips the bench tightly, struggling to reconcile love with the devastating reality of Kody's action. Kody's hands tremble, his composure completely shattered. The next revelation is so shocking, even Kody doesn't know how to respond, and the wives' reactions will leave you breathless. Janelle continues, presenting a hidden letter Kody wrote years ago, detailing manipulations over finances and personal relationships. Each word lands like a hammer, exposing Kody's intent and deliberate deceit. Christine leans forward, jaw tight, anger radiating. Meri sobs quietly, grief and betrayal mixing. Robyn's face is pale, her internal conflict visible in every tense line of her body. Kody tries to speak, but his voice is hollow, failing him completely. The judge watches intently, the courtroom heavy with anticipation. The room seems to vibrate with tension as Janelle lets the evidence speak. Every reaction from the wives amplifies the emotional intensity. What Kody says next could change the outcome of this courtroom battle, but the evidence leaves him defenseless. Kody finally attempts to respond, voice cracking under the weight of his guilt. I only wanted to protect everyone, he stammers. Janelle interrupts, calm but piercing. Intent doesn't erase betrayal. Kody, the impact is real, and the truth cannot be denied. Christine's anger erupts. You lied. Every single day. Meri's sobs grow louder, grief mixing with outrage. Robyn leans forward, trembling, trying to reconcile the man she loves with the undeniable evidence. Janelle then plays a recording that captures Kody admitting to manipulating both personal and financial decisions over years. The courtroom is stunned into silence. Kody's face pales, his confidence is gone. Christine gasps audibly. Meri cries openly, and Robyn's hands shake as she grips the pew. The next revelation will leave Kody completely exposed, and the wives' reactions are unforgettable. Janelle presents the final written evidence letters Kody sent to a confidant outlining his strategies for manipulation and control. The courtroom falls silent, every eye on Kody as he realizes there is no escape. Christine's face is red with fury. Meri sobs uncontrolled. Robyn's pale, face revealing her inner turmoil. Kody slumps further, every defense obliterated. If you think this is shocking, The next twist will shatter everything Kody thought he had under control. Janelle then plays one last recording. Kody's own words admitting his manipulations were deliberate, premeditated, and aimed to control outcomes without the wife's consent. Christine screams, anger consuming her. Meri cries openly, grief mingling with disbelief. Robyn grips the pew tightly, unable to contain the storm of emotions inside her. Kody's voice condemns him more effectively than any testimony ever could. The judge leans forward, eyebrows raised, the weight of the evidence undeniable. Every person in the courtroom feels the tension, the drama, the raw intensity of betrayal. Kody sits frozen, powerless, and completely exposed. The next confrontation will push Kody past his breaking point, and the consequences will shock everyone. Christine rises trembling but fierce. You lied to all of us. You built a life on deceit. The courtroom reacts. Gasps, whispers, and stifled cries fill the space. Meri sobs uncontrollably, grief and anger intertwining. Robyn leans forward, pale, silent, and unable to fully process the reality of Kody's action. Kody attempts to speak, but his voice is hollow. Every argument, every defense is demolished by Janelle's meticulous presentation of evidence. The emotional intensity escalates, every revelation hitting harder than the last. The final evidence is about to be revealed, and it will leave Kody speechless, the wives stunned and the courtroom in shock. Janelle produces a final, damning piece of evidence. A combination of recordings and letters that conclusively prove Kody's manipulation, deceit, and control over family decisions for personal gain. The courtroom reacts. Instantly, Christine's anger becomes almost physical. Meri's grief reaches a peak. Robyn's shock is palpable. Kody's face is pale, his composure shattered completely. The tape plays, Kody's own words detailing intentional deception and emotional manipulation over years. The wives' reactions are immediate and visceral. Christine yells, Meri sobs uncontrollably. Robyn grips the bench in despair. Kody tries to speak, but the words fail him completely, drowned out by the weight of truth. The fallout from this session will be unforgettable, and the consequences will change everything for Kody and the final moments are a storm of emotion. Christine stands, shaking with rage. I trusted you, Kody. You betrayed every single one of us. Meri's cries echo through the courtroom, raw and heartrending. Robyn's quiet sobs speak volume, her love for Kody clashing violently with the evidence of betrayal. Kody sits defeated, every defense obliterated, every lie exposed. Janelle remains calm, unwavering, a beacon of truth amid the chaos. Her presence commands the room, each revelation cutting deeper, leaving Kody exposed and powerless. The judge surveys the scene, absorbing the enormity of the evidence and the emotional devastation. The courtroom hangs in tense silence, every person aware that the final chapter of this battle has been written. The session ends with a dramatic cliffhanger. Kody's fate is uncertain, the wives' emotions raw and uncontained, and the evidence has left the courtroom forever changed. The audience is left breathless, caught in the intensity, emotion, and explosive revelations of this climactic showdown.